Hello, everybody. Look at my hair. It looks wild and beautiful. Okay. Well, it's actually July 29th, and you're 40 now. How do you feel?
Is it July 30th? It is the 29th. Feel
Anxious?
feel anxious
Yeah.
because summer's coming towards an end and school's starting and I gotta work on school.
Yeah, so we're here today to talk about you as a middle school parent. And you're an only parent, and this is Sam. He's a very handsome son. Look at him. And he has one parent, which is Jami. And his dad passed away. Well, he was in kindergarten or preschool?
Preschool.
Preschool. Okay. So this is the second special episode. And next one I'm going to do is going to be preparation for the school year and things to get at the store that might not be on your school list for middle schoolers. So first of all, with Jami, I want to say something to you. This is you fixing your computer the other day because you have to do it all. You know, where I'm like, Terry, come help me. I need help with this. How do you fix this? How do you do this? You have to do everything. You fix things. You have to take your kids to all their appointments. You have to manage the house. You are raising children to be great humans. You make sure your kids are involved. Like, you could be really, really lazy and just be like, oh, that's it, I'm going to bed. But you take your kids to church. You take them to tennis. You were skateboard. What did you do with skateboard?
I know.
You were the skateboard advisor or something like that. I don't know. Her kids are very involved and very active, and she gets them out there because it's right and it's good.
Yep.
Even though you're tired, you still do that. Getting them to church groups, being able to ask for help. You're able to ask for help, so...
Yeah.
And I like that. So, good job. Okay, so the last episode recap. Skip passed away. Sam was age 5. You didn't have time to mourn or think about his passing. You just had to keep going, survival mode. Church and faith helped you out, and family helped you out. Overall.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did have time after about a year, then it started.
One thing I forgot to ask you about, and we had this issue this morning with your daughter. Okay. So, being an only parent, you're able to discipline and punish your style, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, no, you need to do this. And we kind of had a conflict this morning with how to punish your daughter. So I guess as an only parent, that's a different perspective because you're used to your way, right? So that's something. But what about discipline or consequences with your kids? Do you have certain... things that set you off or chores?
Just chores, not listening. My son is usually pretty good. He's 12 going on 30 because he's had, he's just been me and my 2 kids and he's helped me with everything. So it's not just me trying to fix my computer. Actually, I would have actually had to help. Sam kind of knows everything about tech. And, but my daughter is a different being. She is stubborn.
She's headstrong.
Mm-hmm. Impatient.
And
kind of like her father. Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
But very connected to you, though, too.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about Sam, but I just wanted to ask you that, too, because we had that conflict this morning, and I had to think for a second, you're used to your style, right?
Yeah, but right now, as my kids are getting older, this is when I'd like another parent. It's not as bad when they're young because I can control them. But now that when my son is going to be a 7th grader and my daughter is getting to be a 3rd grader, I kind of am starting to get worried about having that extra person there to enforce. And so I'm relying on her, Stephanie, and Terry, her husband. And I'm also kind of relying on Dad to help once in a while. And then Uncle Kyle is pretty good at helping too.
Right, because it takes
Grandma
a village.
Is, but yeah, I need somebody, and it's nice to have that male figure, and I wish that we'd have more male fathers in people's lives too, because it's important, and that's something that I'm missing right now, and trying to have a variety of parents, because it does take a village to.
And you're tired sometimes to follow through with the punishment. It's exhausting.
Yeah. Sometimes,
so,
yeah.
Okay, so getting help and support. We talked about this. You had a counselor. Sam was in 1st and 2nd grade. He had a counselor in grief camp. You used both of our parents, right? Mom lived with you for a while. And I think I would do that too if Terry passed away. I would really rely on my family for support and help, especially raising kids. Naps, you said, when you could get them, and learning to be okay with just making it by. You're gonna love this picture.
Oh gosh.
So when Dad comes to your house and is like, why don't you clean this house up? This house is filthy. Blah, 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 blah. Not thinking like you're busting your butt already
You
as a
don't
working
remember
mom.
what it was like, Dad.
So,
Yeah.
anybody judging an only parent for their house not being clean, that's the last thing on the list.
Mm-hmm.
So, don't judge only parents' house. They're
Yeah.
tired. Right, James?
Oh.
Yeah, and typically I don't cuss or use things like this in this program, but this is how this feels. Yeah. All right, so challenges. I'm just recapping. You just can't do what you want when you want. Dating, you said you had to learn that energy needs to go to your kids and not to a boyfriend. You weren't ready yet at that point. Family nearby, we went all over this, taking care of yourself. But let's talk about Sam and Silas today. Look at these two little cute little seventh graders. Oh, so cute. Look at them. Yep. And we were pregnant and going to have babies on the same day. Recap. That was weird. Yep. They've been buddies, but very different people. Very different humans.
Mm-hmm.
Here they are again, and look at how handsome they are.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. But they still do stupid 7th grade things, 6th and 7th grade things like getting lost. I had to go and find them. They thought they could go and explore on their own and without any resources. So this is at Lake Itasca, and they were just thankful I found them. But I interviewed Sam about having an only parent, and you weren't there.
Mm-hmm.
So, Sam, are you around?
He doesn't want to be involved.
He's listening, but he did say I could interview him. Okay. He said he's worried about you a lot. But he's not sad.
Good.
Not sad that his father passed, okay? He feels supported, and he said, actually, I've learned to be very independent. I'm way more independent than my friends. Again, 13 going on 30. And I would say that this child is very helpful, very mature, very, very intelligent, very self-aware. I think he had a lot of family support. Some piece of advice he told me, though, he said that teenagers, 7th and 8th graders especially, don't trust the school counselor as much because it's not private. They feel like they're going to share that information with the rest of the friends, or the friends will see them going to the counselor and automatically assume something's wrong, which I never thought about. He said that for divorced kids going through divorces or a death of a parent should get an outside therapist. So I never thought about that. So if you're going through this, please, yeah, and I'm a middle school teacher. I'm just like, yeah, go to the counselor. You need a counselor. Do you want to get help from the school counselor? And then a lot of kids say no.
Yeah.
A lot of them, they say, no, I don't want help from the school.
Well, even when I was young, though, I didn't want help either. It made me feel like, oh my gosh, people are going to know about me and think I'm unhealthy. And I had my own mental health issues off and on, with anxiety and some depression. And I just had to get over that. But it took a lot of coaxing from my mom to get me into a therapist.
An outside one.
Yep.
An outside
No,
one.
I wasn't in school, but I think I would have benefited for one when I was in school.
Yeah, so I liked that. He said friends. Friends. You have to have friends. They're more important than adults, he said. They're more important than therapists. Kids who are going through divorced families or only parents or have outside struggles, it's the friends that matter the most at this age. Friends, he said, make me feel normal. Adults pry too much in my business, and I don't want to share as much information with adults because I don't trust them right now in my life. Okay, and he said a lot of middle schoolers don't trust. They need each other. Healthy friends, too. Yeah, so that was awesome. I was so grateful. And here's what he said. This is so mature. He said his advice to all middle school parents is to make their kids have chores. This is what he said. We went through this. I messed up early in 6th grade, but then I got a routine. When I learned to clean my room, I felt like I accomplished something. My advice to middle school parents is to make your kids have chores. When my room was messy, I didn't want to do homework. When my room was clean, I felt mature and responsible. I did all my homework. I want all A's. So I teach that too. When I taught 6th grade, study skills and enrichment, a clean room, and an organized space in middle school is important. But this is funny. just yesterday, this is in July, right? July 28th, he got a hold of his backpack. He's like, oh my gosh, I forgot to clean this out. And I'm like, that's so typical. So parents, have your kid get out their backpack that they didn't go through. It's pretty nasty. It is so nasty. There's going to be candy and candy bars and gross papers in there. Sam is soon to be 13-year-old, very independent, very responsible, had a great support system. But Summer's going to be a different child. She is very attached to you, like extremely attached to you. She's going to be 9 in December. So we're very concerned and worried for mom at this age for what she's about to encounter. So what do you worry about? So as him going through 7th grade?
It's mostly the friends and the tech. So like I said in last one, a lot of his friends have smartphones and the ability to access everything. He also has a computer here. Then I have it upstairs in the kitchen, so I can kind of keep an eye on it, but I'm not always perfect at doing that. So I don't know what they're getting onto as far as the tech all the time, and I think a lot of parents are just kind of oblivious in a way, just like, whatever. Because I think that I feel uncomfortable with tech, and I think a lot of other parents maybe feel that way sometimes, so we just trust our children to make right decisions, and I think that's gonna.
Your son even admitted.
I am gonna struggle with that. His friends have smartphones. I think one of them doesn't have parental. She's never had parental stipulations on it. My son knew about a lot of things in 5th grade that I was like, what?
Yeah, Sam did.
That's what I worry about is. Who are his friends? Are they being raised okay? Can I trust them? And that's what I worry about the most.
Yeah, and I think all of us should be worried about that. And we're not. A lot of us parents are just trusting them on this tech stuff, and it's not okay.
It's open, and they can see everything.
And they go on everything.
And predators are out there. So that's kind of what I'm most scared of is them making good decisions on that, and not having Snapchat on their phone, and not having social media sites until they're 18, because I think it does make them feel depressed when you see people happy on a social media site all the time. Other kids are comparing themselves to them. I'm glad I don't have, I do have Snapchat with adult friends, but again, I got that maybe 6 years ago. I have a Facebook account, but I never use it. Yeah. I think that I said no to that for myself because I already know myself. I wouldn't want to compare myself to everybody and keep up with everything.
Well, this is my first 8 episodes of my whole YouTube channel was all about this. And thank you for we didn't even talk about this.
It makes me anxious, and it makes me probably compare myself to others. So I don't want my kids to have to deal with that if I know that I struggle with that.
Yeah. So we got to get through this. I only have a minute and a half left. But we're sisters. We're both... I'm a middle school teacher, though, so here's what I need you to do still. Can you check in on his weekly grades? Just once or twice a week, just check in there. He says he does it, but just so you can talk to him a little bit. Monitor being safe on the internet. You and I both. I mean, we all have to do that. And any clubs outside of his friend group. You're trying to get him into sports, but he doesn't want to be in sports.
I want him to be in track, one thing.
That's the identity piece, because us middle school parents, I'm going to do a whole nother episode on that. Sometimes they're like, I don't want to, and you're like, you're going to do it. But that's a whole new episode. But with him, he's very independent, so when Summer gets to be in middle school, we'll talk about that when you get there. A very stubborn, very curious, courageous daughter, though.
She's strong.
And she's strong. But... different parenting style that you're going to have. Jami, we only have 30 seconds left. Anything else you want the world to know about only parenting?
It's just really nice to have good friends. I have another good friend out in Larimore, and she's awesome.
Shout out Nicole.
Yeah, I made another friend, guys. So I've got 2 now, but one's moving, so down to 1. It's just nice to have friends around to help support each other and get to know your neighbors, and have kids around, I guess. It's just nice to find kids around your neighborhood as well. Good neighbors. All you need is one good friend, 2 good friends, and a big family. Yeah. Family support. All right. Share, subscribe,
Yep, this is Steph and Jamie signing out. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.